So that was the jig, total failure. But I made a ton of practice pieces, you know, and they were, I mean, what can you do? They fit good, you know. I mean, they go right together, you know. They're just clunk, there it is. But as a matter of fact, this is my you know, final test joint where I put it all together. Everything was good, you know, it was good. But oh well, whatever. So got the little wobble dado. Some people don't like these little wobble dados, but like for small bullshit stuff, they work great. I mean, Dad had one back in the day, you know. All right, so this is what this video is about. So I have the Delta Unifence. I've done a lot of research on these saws, and basically the two fences that come out on top, without getting into like truly industrial stuff, are obviously the Biesmeyer, and Biesmeyer actually does have an industrial version. That was what was on the saw that I sold, was a Biesmeyer industrial. It was really nice. It was super heavy. It was very heavy. And of course it had fence material on both sides. Like you could run on either side of it, which was occasionally useful, but I will tell you that I virtually almost never ran on the wrong side of the fence. Like that, I mean, that ability was there and I have used it, but you know, very, very unusual to use that. One of the main reasons to do it is that on a saw like this one, which is a right tilt saw, blade tilts towards the fence, that's supposed to be more dangerous because it traps, like if you're cutting a bevel with that going towards it, and it traps it against it and it can have kickback. But I'm here to tell you, I've been cutting on right tilt saws my whole life and I've never had a problem. Like I've never had a left tilt saw, so whatever. But some people would say you can flip the fence over to the other side, use the other side of the fence, and then equivalent, you know, then have a right tilt saw, but then of course your tape doesn't work. And there's a little bunch of stuff to it. So the problem is, I mean, the issue is I have never, while I have had kickback, I haven't killed myself with it yet, so oh well. Anyway, so I can get that out of the way. So what was nice is I actually have the original dado insert. We were talking about brazing. I actually have the original Unisaw dado insert, which is nice to have, but it's broken back here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like a little crack in it right there. And I'm gonna try to braze that. I'm gonna try to braze that, even the, ooh, just blew dust into the camera lens, good job. You know, it could be welded, but like cast material, and this is certainly cast, like is kind of weird when it comes to welding and stuff like that. I think brazing is the best thing. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, the actual best thing is to replace this with something that's made out of a non-metal deal. You just need to make some zero clearance throat plates and then make one with a, you know, big hole like this, so whatever. But nice to have, nice to actually have all the pieces of the saw. The guy that sold me this one, here, let me back up a little bit. The guy that sold me this one, this is like the buck standard 80s Unisaw extreme version or whatever. I mean, this is the classic, or not classic, I had one of the classic ones, but I sold it off. I mean, this one's got a slightly cheaper sheet metal cabinet. I actually didn't care because it has like a dust collection port on it, which the other one did not at all. And like making a dust collection port in it would have involved like cutting through an iron plinth and stuff like that. So it just was not gonna happen. It had old timey hand wheels and stuff on it that were chrome. It had some slightly nicer features, but honestly, I don't care. It had that awesome fence on it, but we've talked about that like ad nauseum. You know what my deal with the fence was. So anyway, since I did miss that fence, since I apparently missed the like incredible bulk of the Biesmeyer fence, I guess I had to upgrade this one to be a little bit heavier. But before I show you that piece, like here's a cool thing about the Unifence. This is something that's not obvious from reading about it or whatever, but just like how it works. The thing with the Biesmeyer was to get it off, you had to unlatch it, and you had to lift the whole entire heavy thing straight up off the rail, which it was sandwiching right here, and you know, set it aside or whatever you were going to do. So with this one, you just turn the handle and pull it right back off. And it was easier than I made it look right there. Like if you do it with your right hand instead of standing weird with your left hand like I'm doing, it just comes right off and you just pick it up and do whatever with it. It's quite a bit lighter. It is easier to hold on to. So anyway, like people basically said, get a Biesmeyer or a very close second or maybe equal to the Biesmeyer if you prefer it is this fence right here. And so when I had an opportunity to buy one, I was like, fuck, I'll try it, you know, I mean, whatever. So what's really cool about that, if you didn't catch it, is I can turn it and pull it out and you stick it on and just give it a little turn and it's on. Like that's it, it's on. So that's off and that's, again, I'm doing it left-handed, but that's on, you know, it's really sweet, like the way it works. And then, you know, of course you lock it down and it's good to go. And like I said, I rarely need the other side of the fence, but for the blue moon, when you need the other side of the fence, what you can do is you can slide this off and you can pick it up, and I'm not going to do it, but you could reverse this hardware with this big T-nut and the knobs right here, and you can flip them around to the other side and you can put it on the other side if you wanted. The other thing you can do with it is you'll notice that this fence has like a tall side and a wide side, if you want to look at it like that, and it has two different tracks right here. So you can put it on just like it was with it sitting up tall, but you can also put it on with it sitting out wide like this. So you have a low fence, you know, a very low fence. If you wanted to, you could make some kind of guide rail system that went along this, although I don't know why you would need that because it's already the fence. But like, you know, if you wanted to make some kind of like jig for cutting something with a wavy edge or something like that, you could do that and it could slide there real nice. And if you had something with a lip, like if it had a lip here but it had a taller edge, I mean, very unusual. I seldom see these turned this way, but it's nice to know that you could do it. And what's extra nice to know is that I got this. It was totally not something I needed, and it was totally kind of expensive for what it was, but it was one of those things where you saw it and you were like, you know, that is perfect. That is exactly how this should be. So I got it. So this is an alternative fence made by the crazy guys at Peachtree Woodworking, which is, it's hard to see in the kind of overexposed shot there, but UHMW faced on this side, which is the side that goes out, T-tracks on the top for all your favorite accessories, and then the track on the back. In order to, also has T-slots on the bottom apparently, okay. But it has that track on the back to put it on there. So if I was gonna install this, on my fence body here, easy drop-in replacement there. Another thing is you can move the whole thing front or back if you needed to. Like if you, for some reason, needed more fence on the end feed and that's what you really needed, you could slide it back this way. But we're just going to put it up even with the edge and tighten that on. And now, the stupid joke I was trying to make earlier was that the Biesmeyer one was really heavy and now this one is heavier. Take that off, like it's you know, I don't know, man, it's like 10 or 20% heavier for putting this sucker on there. But what I get is a UHMW face for where you're gonna do, oh, and it's smooth. Oh yeah. That's nice. The way that's gonna ride against the top of the table is better. It's gonna have like a, I can adjust this up or down if I want. I mean, it'll adjust in literally any dimension you want to adjust it because it's a good fence. But, you know, having it just kind of riding on there is going to be good. Yeah, that's good. And then so now I've got like a T-track on the face. I've got 2 T-tracks on the top. It happens to have T-tracks on the bottom. I'm not sure why you would do that, but and of course it's got the T-track that's being used to hold that on, you know, the UHMW face on there. This UHMW is a lot different than some different UHMW I bought at one point to face something. That's kind of curious. It's very smooth. Like even for UHMW, like the surface of it is smooth. That's cool. All right. That was like 90 bucks, which was, I mean, this extrusion has $2 at best worth of aluminum in it. Even if I bought aircraft quality extrusion like this, a length of it like that would not have been $90. The UHMW is only a few bucks in material cost or whatever, and there isn't much assembly. But this is like yeah, it costs 90 bucks, but you buy it one time in your life and you got, you know, it's done. So that's where I was, and I really wanted to have that because I got these 2 packs of Craig feather boards. As a matter of fact, I liked them so much and they were one of the best deals going, so I got another 2 pack. They have expanding T-slot or miter slot deals, which is really sweet. It works really well because you just take this guy, actually have him crump down a little bit, but like you set it in there and then just like a turn or 2 sets it in there, and it's like it's on there, man. It's not going anywhere. That was just like a little bit of a turn from loose to done, you know, in there. It's really good. That one's backwards, but like, you know, you can flip it around whichever way. It came, these are for the miter slot, but it came with T-bolts, or in fact, you could just take the T-bolts. You could just take the T-bolts out of this if you wanted, but I'm saying it came with extra T-bolts so that you could use it and such thing. So what's really nice about that is that gives me, you know, I can put that right on there. You know, front, back, wherever I want to put it. And if there was some other kind of system that mounted on the top, I could do that as well. For like the Jessam stock guides or whatever that mount to the top, that'd be super sweet. So, okay, so those are some things that I got. Now there is one limitation of those Craig feather boards that I discovered through using them, and that is that obviously over here on the saw, like the miter slot is a certain distance from the blade. So what if you are in a situation where you want to be farther away than that? So I got this, which again was frustratingly expensive. Again, is frustratingly expensive because like the pair of the Craig feather boards, which are excellent, is like 30 bucks, whereas one of these magnet ones is 50 bucks. But turn the mag switch on. I mean, I don't know how hard I would have to push against it, but I'm gonna, okay, I can move it. I don't want to move it around on my table a lot because I'll scratch it up. But like I could push it, but like obviously it works, you know, like you know, the amount of pressure that you need for a feather board, it can easily hold and then some. And I was sure of that even before I bought the thing because, well, obviously I read the Amazon reviews, but the other thing is I have a number of magnetic bases with the switch to turn them on and off for mounting on like lathe or mill tables or whatever you need. And I've found that they are very strong. In fact, they're stronger than this, but they're also bigger than this. But what I was saying is once I realized that that this like turnable magnet deal was like a viable, like I'm not sure if I could pull this up off of there. Okay, I was putting everything I had into it right there and I could not pick it up. Like I said, I'm not going to slide it around on there because it'll scratch the table up, but like, you know, you just turn it off and pick the thing up. It's awesome. You know, you stick it on, you know, not going anywhere. You just turn it off, pick it up. Works really well. Well, I haven't used it, but I'm just real sure it's going to work really well. So that'll be useful for when I need to do a plank. I've just got, you know, just farther away from the blade. Well, I hope it'll be useful because it was expensive. We'll see. And this New Max, no name brand. This is sold under many names. You can find it all over eBay, Amazon, Home Depot online will sell it to you, Walmart, whatever. Nobody actually has it on the shelf, but anybody will sell you this thing. It's like a little tiny, like ultra, like it's petite gun. It came with a fitting, which is nice, you know, especially on an ultra cheap deal. Got a little deal for you to set and put the things in there. And I don't see them right now, but I bought like an assortment pack of like 3,000 different length pin nails. And the thing is, like that 3,000, I'm sure will be a lifetime supply. I'm sure I'll use up all of the most convenient size and have to go buy more of those. But you know, and I mean, people complained about it. They said like I mean, obviously it worked for some people, but some people said it had problems or the pin would round off or whatever. But man, let me tell you, this Boss Stitch 18 gauge brad gun was over $100 when it was bought, I think. Like at least $90, and that was like a long time ago. That was like way more than a decade ago, probably 15 years ago. But ever since this thing was new, it has been an utter crapshoot. It shoots 4 out of 5 nails on average. It's functional enough that I haven't thrown it away, but it is consistently frustrating. So I guess what I'm saying is, if I got the same 4 out of 5 performance out of this for 24 bucks, okay, you know, I mean, whatever, man. For as often as I use it, that's probably whatever, you know. And if I find that I'm needing it all the time and it's letting me down, I'll go buy a better one. But I'm here to tell you, the reviews on the better ones don't look that much better. Here's another thing I got. I bought a little one of these. This is a 16-ounce blue bot. It's like a Bedex bottle. Like the idea behind it is when I take this cap off right here, if I squeeze it, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but if I squeeze it, you know, the pressure makes the stuff come out, and it's really cool because you just tip it and go, you know, put your glue on it. Came with different tips and stuff like that. I've also got like the 4-ounce version of it, which is, this is 16 ounce, so one that's a quarter the size of this. And I find it frustrating because it isn't big enough. Like the tank isn't big enough for you to put out a lot of glue, like it's running out of glue a lot of the time. It's just not big enough. So I really wish they would make like an 8-ounce version, because that would be perfect. Like this is a full bottle of Tight Bond right here in this, but I'm telling you, like, it's cool because you just take the thing off. It even has a cool thing where you can like snap the cap on there like that, so it's not in your way. And you just, like, the wooden board you got, you know, you just take that sucker, you're just like, you know, I didn't do it, there we go. Not doing a good job on camera, but anyway, you can just like lay out a little line of glue on there. It's perfect. I bought some 4-inch flex hose because I've been using like, you can probably see it. I've been using like dryer hose on my dust collection there, but leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm not sure how much better this really is, but I gave Amazon their $2 a foot for this piece of it, or whatever. I'll be getting a lot more hoses and stuff like that to get that hooked up right. This is my dust collector here, my $110 dust collector. It's really nice. It's like a DC 1200 or whatever jet dust collector. I don't know what. It's sorry for the shitty camera work. It's their like flagship model. The current model has a, I don't know how to explain it, but it has a vortex cone, they call it, but it has a cone like a coolie hat that sits kind of in the middle there. It's about 14 inches in diameter by 4 inches tall cone. I know that because somebody that had a vortex model took theirs out and measured it for the guys that have a non-vortex model, because a lot of guys were like, wow, you know, the part, okay, let me start at the beginning. Let me start at the beginning of that. The deal is they had the non-vortex cone model, then they introduced the vortex cone, and instead of going and buying a new $800, $900, $1,000 dust collector, people were like, hey, you can just buy the vortex cone replacement part from the new one. It's just a part you can buy. It's like that plus the hardware to install it is like 30 bucks, which was a no-brainer upgrade, but like a no-brainer upgrade. But the thing was, like, Jet figured that out and increased the price of that part to over $100 now. So you can still buy it, but it's like 134 bucks with the hardware or something now. So they put the kibosh on that because they didn't want, I mean, they wanted people to go buy new dust collectors rather than to just simply update one into a VC model or whatever. So there's a whole thread on various sites about that or whatever. So once I figured that out, I was able to easily, and in that thread, they said the cone is this big by this tall, and those are the only dimensions you need to know to make a cone. So I went to the sheet metal shop and I made a cone, and I made the mounting hardware and I put it in there, and I'm pleased to say it seems to work. The point of the vortex cone is this. Like, the thing has a big filter on the top, and it even has these arms that you can spin around, that spins around rubber fingers inside of the filter element to knock the dust off of it and make it rain down into the bag. The point of the vortex cone is it's supposed to separate the airflows in such a way that the heavier stuff gets trapped down into the bag area and doesn't ever get up there to partially clog the filter. And if you don't have the vortex cone, the filter just clogs faster and you have to turn the little thingy more. That's the difference it's supposed to make. And I've seen some side-by-side comparisons where people ran it with it and without it, and it's convincing. Like, it makes a difference how much crap is going into the filter, which is all good. So it kind of does, it won't replace a vortex separator, but it does some of what a vortex separator does. And saves you that effort. So, all right, so there it is, and probably ought to shut this down at this point, but that's the whole thing. This is the huge shelf unit that I'm trying to make the containers for, and as you can see, the 4 beer boxes do fit on there, but it's not good utilization of the space, as you can see from all the junk hanging out of the top of the box. It's not really big enough to fit caulk guns and stuff like that. So that's why I'm making larger containers to go in there. All right, mill is chilling right there. Probably ought to just pick the camera up at this point. Just hanging out, haven't done anything with it yet. Lathe is hanging out over here. I really think, I like how those cabinets I got and that top and all those chests fit there. That's great, but honestly the lathe would be better in that corner, and then moving the mill around the corner into where the lathe is now, which would kind of leave me in a position of having to bring those cabinets and that tabletop out to here and put it where the mill is now, or I might just throw the tabletop away and find a way to fit those cabinets underneath here. But when I talk about building a mobile work/storage cart, and when I talk about, you know, making a bunch of drawer units, this is the crap I'm trying to get rid of. All of these tools in cases. The cases have to go. The cases are just such a waste. It's wretched. And then I've got other things like those dust collection parts and just stuff laying around. And that's the stuff I want to get put away in these drawers. I've already done a good job of like making a bunch of racking for my various materials. So my offcuts and stuff can go over there. Oh, whoops. I got some cabinets going on. These cabinets are holding my paints and glues and things like that, and I'll even be able to make some more storage above that. I've got the attic with my custom cut extension ladder. That extension ladder is a non-standard size because I cut it and shortened it so that it would fit up against the wall exactly where you see it there, and it also doubles as the access to the attic. There was a, you can see from the paint stripe on the wall that there was a big wooden ladder that was nailed to it that was only like, it started like halfway up and went up, but I tore that off and threw it away because it was junky. Got to get rid of that cabinet. I can set up some more storage up there where ironically there was a storage loft up there, but it was just made crappily and it was not the right size or shape to be useful, so I tore it out and started the drywall repair in the garage, which I shouldn't even bother. And Megan's home. So I guess I'll cut it off, but that's the shop tour for this week. Later, bro.